And this is your coffee break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, bringing you the latest local news, including disturbing comments made by Trumbull High students on the 3rd anniversary of the Sandy Hook school shooting, as well as the death of an environmental champion in the state, and much more. Donald Ang will be joining us to take a look back on this day in history, and Mike Suppy will be bringing us today's local sports update. But first, on to today's news. On the 3rd anniversary of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, police in Trumbull were investigating a potential threat at the high school. The Trumbull Police Department announced Monday afternoon that there remains an ongoing investigation into disturbing comments made by 2 Trumbull High students in an online conversation about the 3-year anniversary of the shootings. Trumbull police received a complaint on Sunday, December 13th around 10:45 at night. The 2 15-year-old male students were engaged in an exchange that threatened school safety. Throughout the night, police identified the 2 students involved and seized computers from their homes for forensic evaluation. At the present time, the police have not found any credible information that any person or building was in danger yesterday or on any other planned date. According to police, the police department did not find any specific or credible risk that anyone's safety would be compromised, and it was jointly determined that the Trumbull High School was safe to open today. Superintendent Dr. Gary Chalfie said that Chief Lombardo and I had previously prepared to increase police presence at all Trumbull schools yesterday in preparation of the 3rd anniversary of the tragic Sandy Hook shooting. First Selectman Tim Herbst said that police officers moved swiftly in responding to the disturbing matter. He said, "We take situations of this nature very seriously," and Chief Lombardo, Dr. Chalfie, and myself remain committed to keeping the children of Trumbull safe. And in another disturbing incident that happened yesterday, a woman state police say caused Emmett O'Brien Technical School to be locked down Monday after she compared her son to the Columbine killers, has been involuntarily committed to a mental health facility. 39-year-old Leslie Teixeira of Ruth Street in Bridgeport, whose son attends O'Brien Tech in Ansonia, had phoned the school's principal twice, crying hysterically and claiming to be afraid of her son. She said, "He is like the kid that killed the babies of Columbine, and he is an angry child." According to state police, she told school officials that she drives by the home where her son is staying to look at him through the window, but that he hates her, calls her names, and is mean to her, the police report states. The school was placed on lockdown, and the teenage boy was escorted to the principal's office, searched for weapons, and interviewed. Sergeant Stephen Cabellis wrote that during the interview, no evidence of any weapons or the ability of the son to obtain weapons was found. They also said that there were no weapons found in the Bridgeport home belonging to the woman. Teixeira was arrested and charged with breach of peace. She was released after posting a $2,500 bond, but due to the alarming state she placed the school in and her history of mental illness, she was involuntarily committed to Bridgeport Hospital. And in other news, a New Haven firefighter is accused of stealing about $125,000 from a 95-year-old woman he met while responding to a call. Police say that 41-year-old Kenneth Burgos was arrested at home Monday and charged with first-degree larceny and tampering with a witness. They say Burgos met the victim, who they've declined to name, several years earlier. He gained her trust, took control of her finances, and emptied at least 2 of her bank accounts. Police say the victim told other firefighters about the issue when they responded to a medical call at her home a few months ago. Burgos, who is a 17-year department veteran, has been placed on paid administrative leave. He's also been removed as the victim's power of attorney. Phone numbers listed for Burgos were out of service Monday, according to the Associated Press. State Representative Terry Backer, an environmental champion and the longtime Long Island Soundkeeper, died late Monday night in Bridgeport Hospital. He was 61 years old. The veteran Democratic lawmaker died at Bridgeport Hospital at about 11:20 last night, according to spokesman Joe Gresko, who began his term as the Stratford Town Councilman on Monday. Backer was first elected to state office in 1992, and he was in the midst of his 12th term representing Stratford in the General Assembly. Backer has been battling brain cancer since 2010. While he was able to treat it successfully, it was discovered again last August, Gresko said. Gresko also said Backer was a man who was always going. He was very much a larger-than-life character. He was like a ball full of energy, always going and always doing. He didn't like being sick at all or the appearance of weakness, Gresko said. Prior to the start of the new town council's first meeting, Gresco asked residents to offer thoughts and prayers for Backer as his condition had worsened. State Senator Kevin Kelly spoke about Backer in a statement issued Tuesday, calling Backer a longtime public servant and friend who fought for years to protect Long Island Sound. And in other news, a man who fatally shot a college student he had lured to New Jersey to rob during a drug deal has been sentenced to 50 years in prison. Ernest Williams was sentenced Monday after he was convicted last month in the July 2012 death of 21-year-old Brian Chiavatti in Montclair. Prosecutors say Chiavatti of Ridgefield went to Williams to purchase oxycodone pills. He was introduced to Williams by co-defendant James Pitts Jr. Chiavatti had met Pitts, the son of an Essex County undersheriff, when they attended Villanova University in suburban Philadelphia together. Pitts testified for the state and was sentenced to 1 year in county jail. Lawyers for Williams had argued that he was acting in self-defense and a gun simply went off during a struggle. Prosecutors say he executed Chiavatti as the victim was running away. And in New Canaan, a Stamford man arrested recently pretended to be his brother when he was booked by police. Stamford man John Latour, 39 years old, was found by New Canaan police on December 10th to be asleep behind the wheel of his car on Ponus Ridge Road at about 3:20 in the morning. They woke him by tapping on the window. He had his lights on with the car running and in gear. Smelling alcohol, he was given a breathalyzer test, which showed him to be 3 times over the legal limit for alcohol consumption while driving. He identified himself as Ronald Latour and produced identification belonging to Ronald Latour. At police headquarters, where he was being charged with DUI and failure to drive in the right lane, he signed as Ronald Latour. However, when his brother, the real Ronald Latour, came to pick him up, police were on to the con. It turned out that John Latour was on probation for a drug arrest and was worried that the new charges could get him in trouble. He was charged with criminal impersonation, second-degree forgery, and interfering with an officer. He's set to appear in court December 21st. And switching gears now, the weather hasn't felt very Christmas-like, but that didn't stop the Ridgefield press staff from capturing some beautiful photos of Main Street last night in the fog. And just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful the way they light up Main Street this time of year. But taking a look at today's weather, it's sunny and beautiful out, but windy, gusts of 25 miles per hour today. And we have heard reports that that wind is causing some problems, including in Ridgefield, where a tree is down on Ridgebury Road. It's currently 58 degrees in Shelton with a high of 62 expected today. Tonight, temperatures will start to get a little more seasonal with a low of about 37 degrees. Tomorrow will be 50 degrees and partly sunny in the area. But we're going to step out for a quick break. When we come back, Donald Eng is going to take a look back on this day in history. Mike Suppy will bring us the latest sports update, and we have more news coming up on your coffee break after this.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
Discover the Wilburton Inn in Manchester, Vermont, a 30-acre historic estate featuring a turn-of-the-century mansion with elegant inn guest rooms and 7 large private vacation homes, perfect for ski vacations and holiday celebrations. Special offer on select rooms and houses. Stay 2 nights, get the 3rd night free through Christmas Day. CNN has called the Wilburton one of the top 8 mansion hotels in America. Call 802-362-2500 or visit wilburtoninn.com for more information.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday, right here on the HAN Network.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your local destination for the best of the holidays. Shop Stewart's for the freshest produce, certified prime rib roasts, magnolia wreaths, fresh baked pies, gingerbread houses, Christmas candies, and the season's best wine and craft brews right next door at Stewart's Spirits. Shop Walter Stewart's, 229 Elm Street in New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And we're back on this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. Time to throw it over to Donald Eng for a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, Kate, it's a big day for constitutional amendments and freedoms. Such a big day, in fact, that we're going to begin and end with them. First, 1791. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution, collectively known as the Bill of Rights, go into effect following the ratification by the state of Virginia. Now, 9 out of the 10 have been the subject of Supreme Court cases. Any guesses on which one hasn't? It's the Third Amendment, which prohibits the government from housing troops in private homes without the consent of the owner. 1925, Madison Square Garden opens on 8th Avenue between 49th and 50th Streets in New York City. It is the third and without question ugliest building to ever bear the name Madison Square Garden. Also the first that was not on Madison Square. The current garden, by the way, the fourth garden, is between 7th and 8th, in between 31st and 33rd Streets. To 1939 we go. The movie version of Gone with the Wind premieres at the Lowe's Grand Theater in Atlanta. The movie essentially defines what we now know as Southern culture. I considered making this our historical film clip of the day, but I gotta be honest, I just can't stand the movie. I tried to watch it, sorry, could not do it. And finally we go to 1933. As Kate looks on in horror, we go to 1933.
And for many others throughout the land. With an eye on December 5th, work is being rushed in distilleries and bottling works. Thousands are being called back to work in plants of allied industries. At least 500,000 new jobs are predicted as the result of repeal. From keg and barrel factories, perhaps the most closely allied line, immediate benefits from repeal extend into almost every line of business and commerce. However, everyone's not waiting until December 15th. The lid is off in many places, with the downfall of Prohibition being celebrated in real old-time hilarity. Yes.
I thought about having a celebratory prop on the desk for this one too. Prohibition ending. Figured it wasn't appropriate for 11:15 or so in the morning. That is the 21st Amendment to the Constitution, officially becomes law on this date in 1933. The 21st Amendment repeals the 18th Amendment that had prohibited the sale, manufacture, and transport of alcohol somewhere. Elliot Ness had a drink in celebration. That is your look back in history, and I am Donald Eng.
All right, Don, I'm a little disappointed in you. Our audience wants to see Rhett Butler as much as possible,
Oh,
at least, if they're anything like me.
I find every single character in that movie just completely unlikable.
All right, well. Anyway,
Sorry.
moving on. Before we throw it to Mike Stuppy, who's going to bring us a sports update today, getting back to a little more news. In Milford, a couple were able to reunite their neighbors with a lost wedding ring. Milford resident Winthrop Smith Jr. was out walking one day when he found a diamond ring on the ground, touching off his quest to find the ring's owner. Smith, who's a local attorney and former state senator, walks regularly on different Milford streets to stay in shape. One day in October, he decided to walk in the Burnt Plains Road area. That took him onto Bronca Court, where he found the ring in a pile of leaves. Smith took the ring to Valentine's Diamond Center in Milford, and they told him it was a channel setting on a 14-karat yellow gold worth at least $2,000. Smith and his wife Deb and the staff at his office worked together to come up with a way to find the owner. They really wanted to reunite the ring with its owners, which they assumed was a wedding ring. They made flyers and at first didn't have any luck. Meanwhile, on Bronca Court, Richard Fisk noticed one morning that his wedding ring was missing. It was about a month ago that he noticed the ring was missing when he went to look for it on his bureau. Fisk, who owns Specialty Tool Company on Erna Avenue with his wife, has been battling health issues since 2007, and since he's lost a considerable amount of weight as they tore through the house and car looking for the ring, there was the chance that it had fallen off during one of his regular walks around the neighborhood. Recently, Smith took his 200 or so gold ring found flyers and put them on porches along Burnt Plains Road in Bronca Court. And determined to find the real owner, Smith said he was worried he would get lots of calls from people claiming that it was their gold ring, but they only received one call from Fisk, who was able to identify the ring and get it back. He called being reunited with the ring a miracle. He said he never expected to see it again, and he thanked the Smith family for searching so diligently for the owners. And you can get more on that story at milfordmirror.com. Good news there. Going to throw it over now to Mike Seppi for sports. Mike.
All right, thanks, Kate. Well, girls Scholastic Winter Sports kicked off last night, and in a game featured right here on the HAN Network, the New Canaan High girls hockey team pinned a 9-2 defeat on Guilford High at the Darien Ice Arena. 8 New Canaan players scored goals, with senior co-captain Catherine Granito leading the way with 2 goals and 1 assist. Brooke Dean and Christina Marciano each had a goal and an assist, and senior co-captain Kate McMahon, Katie Marciano, Gianna Bruno, MJ Ripley, and freshman Katie Cutler all scored once. Liz McCarthy, Lindsay Duane, and Jess Eccleston, Sarah Murphy, they had the assists. Moving on to the hard court, Shelton High knocked off Daniel Hand, last year's SCC runner-up, by a 44-43 margin on Sarah Skaronski's game-winning layup. Skaronski scored 12 points, while teammate Casey O'Connor had a game-high 14 for the Galettes. Gabby Martin led Hand with 13 markers. Over in the CSC, Nicole Belade's 21 points were enough for O'Brien Tech and a 33-29 setback to Goodwin Tech. It's also a full slate of games in the state tonight in girls basketball. In the FCAC, St. Luke's travels to West Hill for a 4:30 p.m. tip-off. St. Joseph's in Southbury to face Pomperog, while NFA, Norwich Free Academy, squares off with Ward at 5:15 in the Massac tip-off tournament. In the nightcap, the host Panthers will face Brantford High at 7. In 5:30 p.m. tip-offs, Bassick is in Westport to meet former FCAC foes Staples, while McMahon travels to New Canaan. Brookfield tangles with Trinity Catholic in a 5:45 tip-off, while in the 7 o'clock games, Danbury travels to Newtown, Stanford is in Laurelton Hall in Milford, and Trumbull takes on New Milford. Over in the SCC, Foreign travels to Wallingford to take on Lyman Hall, while Law is in Woodbridge to face Amity Regional. Both games are set for 7 p.m. tips. And finally on the mat, Greenwich High, they're out in Brewster, New York for a 5 p.m. dual meet. Thanks, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Mike. Well, as we should mention, it's the last day of the Winter FCAC Tour. That's why Rob Adams is out on the road. They're at Trinity and then moving on to Greenwich later today. So you can check out all that action on our Twitter page, HAN Network CT. And of course, all those interviews will go up at live.han.network. But getting back to some more news today, the Connecticut Better Business Bureau is urging consumers, investors, and merchants to understand the risks associated with the virtual currency known as Bitcoin. Hundreds of thousands of merchants around the world, including major retailers in the United States, now accept payment by Bitcoin, and financial and regulatory authorities have taken notice. Digital or virtual currencies are emerging as a trendy way to pay for goods and services. These transactions allow simple, anonymous payments around the world, bypassing the weight and fees associated with international banking transactions. Bitcoin is a digital form of money that is not controlled or backed by any central government or central bank. The digital money can be bought or sold through virtual currency exchanges and used to purchase goods or services. The paperless currency's value fluctuates wildly, making it dangerous for merchants who accept it, as well as consumers who purchase Bitcoins as an investment. And in Milford, police arrested a Hamden woman December 12th and charged her with larceny for allegedly shoplifting at Macy's, where she was an employee. Police said 34-year-old Tiffany Goss took more than $1,000 worth of merchandise from the store without paying for it on December 11th. She was charged with larceny in the 4th degree and was released from police custody on her promise to appear in court January 5th. And in some happier Christmas news, kids in Stratford had a great experience recently. Dozens of Stratford police officers, firefighters, and members of the Stratford Police Explorers program took to the aisles of Target on Saturday for the second Heroes and Helpers event. The Stratford Police Activities League and Target worked together to help Stratford children purchase holiday gifts for their families. The Heroes and Helpers program is intended to foster strong community relationships by pairing public safety officials with in-need in-need youth to shop for the children's families during the holidays. More than 50 kids went shopping with public safety members. Parents said the event is a good chance for the kids to see police officers in a positive light. The program is funded by a $5,000 grant, which allowed for each family to receive a $100 gift card to shop. According to Lieutenant Melissa Niemak, who organized the program, she said it's about making the holidays brighter to meet with the public and safety officials. And there's more on that story at StraffordStar.com. But we're going to step out for another break. We're going to come back and recap some of the top stories today on your coffee break after this.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at the Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
This fall for our red panda. That's right, Rashawn the red panda will be visiting the Beardsley Zoo for a limited time. Resembling raccoons, red pandas primarily eat bamboo, but will occasionally eat fruits, berries, young leaves, and certain tree bark, like their better-known black and white cousins. As an adult, Rashawn is expected to weigh 10 to 12 pounds, and you can see him at the South American Rainforest exhibit, Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo of Bridgeport. A whole new experience. 875 Noble Avenue, Bridgeport. 203-394-6565.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the area's top stories today, including that on the third anniversary of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, police in Trumbull were investigating a potential threat at the high school. The Trumbull Police Department announced Monday afternoon that there remains an ongoing investigation into disturbing comments made by 2 Trumbull High students in an online conversation about the 3-year anniversary of the shootings. Trumbull police received a complaint on Sunday, December 13th, around 10:45 at night, that 2 15-year-old male students were engaged in an exchange that threatened school safety. Throughout the night, police identified the 2 students involved and seized computers from their homes for forensic evaluation. At the current time, the police had not found any credible information that any person or building was in danger yesterday or of any planned future attacks. The police department did not find any specific or credible risk that anyone's safety would be compromised, according to Superintendent Gary Chalfie. He said Chief Lombardo and I had previously prepared to increase police presence at all Trumbull schools yesterday in preparation for the 3rd anniversary of the tragic shooting. First Selectman Tim Herbst said the police officers moved swiftly in responding to the disturbing matter. He said, "We take situations of this nature very seriously, and they remain committed to keeping the children of Trumbull safe." And in Ansonia, a woman state police say caused Emmett O'Brien Technical School to be locked down Monday after she compared her son to the Columbine killers, has been involuntarily committed to a mental health facility. 39-year-old Leslie Teixeira of Ruth Street in Bridgeport, whose son attends O'Brien Tech, had phoned the school's principal twice, crying hysterically and claiming to be afraid of her son. She compared him to the killers of Columbine and said he was an angry child. She told school officials that she drives by the home where her son is staying to look at him through the window, but that he hates her, calls her names, and is mean to her. The school was placed on lockdown, and the teenage boy was escorted to the principal's office, searched for weapons, and interviewed. Sergeant Stephen Cabellis wrote that during the interview, no evidence of any weapons or the ability of the son to obtain any weapons was found. Teixeira was arrested and charged with breach of peace. She was released after posting a $2,500 bond, but due to the alarming state she placed the school in and her history of mental illness, she was involuntarily committed to Bridgeport Hospital. A New Haven firefighter is accused of stealing $125,000 from a 95-year-old woman he met while responding to a call. Police say 41-year-old Kenneth Burgos was arrested at home Monday and charged with first-degree larceny and tampering with a witness. They say Burgos met the victim, who they've declined to name, several years earlier. Police say he gained her trust, took control of her finances, and emptied at least 2 of her bank accounts. Police say the victim told other firefighters about the issue when they responded to a medical call at her home a few months ago. Burgos, who is a 17-year department veteran, has been placed on administrative leave. He's also been removed as the victim's power of attorney. And in Stratford, State Rep Terry Backer, an environmental champion and the longtime Long Island Soundkeeper, died late Monday night at Bridgeport Hospital. He was 61 years old. The veteran Democratic lawmaker died at Bridgeport Hospital at about 11:20 p.m., according to his spokesman, Joe Gresko. Backer was first elected to state office in 1992, and he was in the midst of his 12th term representing Stratford in the General Assembly. Backer had been battling brain cancer since 2010. While he was able to treat it successfully, it was discovered again in late August. Gresko said that Backer was very much a larger-than-life character. He was like a ball full of energy, always going and always doing. According to Gresko, he didn't like to be sick at all or the appearance of weakness. Prior to the start of the new town council's first meeting in Stratford, Gresko asked residents to offer thoughts and prayers for Backer as his condition had worsened. According to the Stratford Star, Mayor John Harkins has ordered all flags at half-staff in Stratford to memorialize Backer, and you could get updates on that story at stratfordstar.com. And that's going to do it for this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break. Coming up at 12:30 today, The Drive with Denise. She's going to be talking about how to successfully and stress-free host some gatherings this holiday, especially if you have some last-minute guests coming by. That's coming up at 12:30. Don't miss it. And then at 2 o'clock, of course, Nutmeg Sports with Donald Lang and Mike Suppy. Have a great Tuesday, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow at 11. Oh, cool.